Hello, today I've got Vidhu with me from Saxton Bampfylde, and Vidhu does search in the NED and trustee space. If you are looking at applying for a NED or trustee role, we've got Vidhu here to give us some tips for your CVs and your cover letters. Vidhu, over to you.
Thanks, Sarah. It's really lovely to be here and just share some ideas. So, as Sarah said, I work at Saxton Bampfylde. I've been in executive search for about 3 years now, just over 3 years, and I work across both trustee roles in the not-for-profit space and non-executive director roles, often in the public sector or in the more commercial space. If a firm has engaged with an executive search firm on a particular role, then the likelihood is there's probably something quite particular they're looking for. So I would suggest calling in, try and find out who the consultant is or who the team is who is leading that search, and speak to them. Just first to check whether you bring the right sort of skills and experience that they're looking for. And also, I think it just really helps if I've spoken to somebody before I'm talking to my client about them, then it just helps me really bring your experience to life. So if it's something that's really important and you're super passionate about, I'd say try and find out who's leading the search in that firm and have a conversation with them beforehand. Where I feel people let themselves down is when they've just speculatively put something in and it really shows. If you're interested in something and you really want to give it the time and effort, you want to commit your time to it, then I would say it's really worth just thinking about what are the 3 or 4 things that have stood out to you about that opportunity and being really clear at the outset why those things stood out. So I think that for me, there's something about the motivation. So what is it that that charity does, or what is it that that organization does, or that public sector body does that speaks to you? And why is it that you would want to give your time up voluntarily for that? That's one thing I would say, and make that really clear. I often get asked about, should I completely rewrite my CV every time I apply for something? And I think the reality is that all of us work in such busy worlds that, I don't think you need to rewrite it. But I do think it helps if you order it in a way that speaks to some of the things that they're looking for. So if the role is a chairing role, talk about your experience of governance. Obviously, as a chair, you'll want to talk about any chairing experience you've had. If it's your first time chair role, talk about subcommittees that you've been part of, talk about your experience of governance in organizations. Put that at the top. There have been times when I have had to sift through 50 or 60 CVs for a role. Just help me make my job easier. That's what I'm asking you essentially. Because if I'm having to look through 60 CVs, then the ones that will really stand out are the ones that have taken the time to tell me why they want to do something and then shown me within the first 30 seconds of me reading their CV what the relevant skills are that they bring to the role. Who are you addressing this to? Have you taken the time to think about actually, are you addressing it to the chair of that organization? Are you addressing it to the chief executive of that organization? Maybe finding out their name. It's a small thing, but it can make a world of difference. I have seen applications where people haven't checked who it is they're applying to. That's a definite no-no. So they'll have the wrong organization because maybe what they're doing is that spray and pray approach, and it shows. It absolutely shows. So where you've got names that aren't appropriate, or it's just the wrong organization's name, there is no ways I'm going to put that in front of a client because it just isn't going to help at any stage. There is just something about concise communication, which is really important. If it's more than 3 pages or even more than 2 pages long, that's just long. It's about why it is you want to do this, what it is you think you would bring to the organization, and anything else that's really important that you think we should know at this stage. That's effectively what I'd be looking for. Anything that's longer than 2 pages, I honestly think there's got to be a really good reason why it is, because 9 times out of 10 people will not consider an application.
Thank you, Vidhu. That was fantastic. And for any candidates applying for NED or trustee roles, I hope you found those tips helpful for your CVs and your cover letters. And if you haven't signed up already, please do sign up to Dynamic Boards. We list all of the non-exec and some trustee roles from right across the UK. It's free to sign up and check out our roles. Good luck with your applications.